So I'm with Jay.
yes, yes.
Jay. The show is just such a beautiful show, and it's
thanks.
for children of all ages. Adults, actually, I think more than children.
Yeah, I think that children obviously will like any sort of puppetry if it's done well, but it's really a story of an adult. It's my story with my mentor, and that's what it is.
That's wonderful.
Plus, ventriloquism, when you look historically, it's not always been associated with comedy, not always been associated with puppetry or any sort of entertainment. So it has sort of an adult theme,
So is that the real Squeaky? Or is that,
oh, absolutely, yeah.
That's
There's
the original Squeaky?
Only one Squeaky, yeah, only one Squeaky.
It's so sweet.
Yeah, he's great.
That's the original one. I thought you had other versions of Squeaky.
No, Squeaky was always Squeaky. Now, there have been a couple of versions of Bob just because he was not made as well as Squeaky was. But yeah, Art Sieving, and I still have Harry O'Shea, and so Harry still works very, very well.
Have you thought of putting Harry O'Shea into the show?
Yes, I've thought about it and probably would never do it because it's just I know what Harry was. I know Art, and unless you could do that character, I don't think, if you just get a puppet and you don't know its background and you find another character for it, that's great. But once I don't think I could do it.
That's great. Yeah. So this is a different Bob. How many Bobs were there?
There were 3 Bobs, I guess, over the course of one's in the Smithsonian, and I have the second one and the third one. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, was this one in soap? This
actual one never was on soap. This was created after the show, yeah. And mainly the television one was created more for the television camera, and this guy was created more for a live show. So
right. Okay. Well, he's so funny. It's actually been 2 years since I've seen the show, so I know a lot of it by heart because I've watched it.
Sure, after 6 times.
6 times, I just love it.
Oh, good.
But obviously Squeaky is probably your favorite of the puppets?
Yeah, probably. Just because we go way back. It goes back farther than any other puppet, except Amigo. Amigo the Snake is the oldest one.
I love Amigo.
Yeah, he's the oldest puppet on stage. And,
really? And your parents gave him to you?
My mother made that puppet, yeah.
She made it?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's fantastic. And you haven't had to fix him at all? He's been...
Changed him a little bit, kind of sewed him here and there, but yeah, no, he's been... I take good care of the guys, but they occasionally need a little repair, but not much.
That's great. Well, they're beautiful, and the story is so touching.
Well, that's what I like about doing theater is that you get to paint with those colors, and you get to do more than just a comedy routine. You get to tell a little bit of education, a little bit of story, a little bit of what it means, a little bit of the heart, and that's what keeps me going. That's what.
So
me do the show.
Bird of Death. Tell me.
Nether-Nor, the Bird of Death.
Nether-Nor, yes. How did you come up with Nether-Nor?
Well, my friend Harry and I used to produce Halloween shows every year. And Long John Lafitte, the disembodied head, and Nether-Nor were characters that we just kind of created in this kind of dark Halloween show that we did. And obviously I found a use for Long John in this show. And Nether-Nor just kind of, the more I worked with him, the more I liked him, the more he came alive for me.
He's one of my favorites.
He's a fun character. He's just...
of death.
Of death, that's right. He's a bird of death.
I like the Weight Watcher joke, though. He waits and he watches.
Yeah, well, that's it. That's the vulture, isn't it? Yes.
It's very, very clever.
Well,
thanks. How did you write all of it together? Did you do this over a series of your whole life? Or was it...
Yeah, pretty much.
Yes?
Pretty much. The show, the story of the show was sort of written in a matter of a few weeks and then, added to and refined. But but my routine's basically over a long period of time. Maybe every third show you find a line that's really good and you keep that in, and you find a way to tweak it the next time and you keep building on it. And it's never quite finished. It's always kind of like a piece of jazz that just, keeps finding its own way and its own meter,
But the puppetry itself, you crack me up with, even just the facial expressions with the snake, with the eyes, and, and, with Darwin, when he's laughing.
Yeah.
I was lucky today and I saw it the first row, which is so
much.
This
is a small theater, and everybody's right there on you. I think that's what's exciting
But seeing
about
it that close, it's such an intimate setting. It was even better tonight for me than it was when I saw it on Broadway.
Well, ventriloquism is very much a close art form, you know. So the intimate theaters like this is really the way to see it.
It's really phenomenal.
Oh,
and I just sat there and
yeah.
was, I couldn't stop laughing with everything, and I was touched by Squeaky, and Bob is just hilarious.
Yeah,
How do you
he's
do
an
that when you tape your mouth and you can actually get the sound to come out with your mouth taped? How do you do that? That's just brilliant.
I think I do it pretty well.
You do? But how do you? I don't know.
A lot of things.
How do you practice for something?
A lot of things like the distant voice inside the suitcase really just happened one time as an ad lib for a comedy club, and I just kind of did that, and I realized that that would work. I realized that people are so accustomed to hearing with the microphone rather than anything that their ear would go where this mic is. And so, yeah, just kind of, again, that jazz kind of relationship to the puppets. Eventually, you find some notes that go together to form a new song, and you have a new riff. So I'm trying to think the tape of the mouth. I think what I was trying to look for was the equivalent of doing a triple flip on a trapeze blindfolded. So what's the equivalent of being blindfolded on a trapeze? Would be your mouth shut.
That's brilliant. It's brilliant.
So that's really where that was.
That's great. So how many hours did you practice with doing this?
Well, when I was younger, a lot. That's I love to practice. So that's what I love to do. I guess getting ready.
Gaga and
and Jackie, yeah.
That's very cute.
Yeah. I say that Amigo is the oldest character, but I think that Jackie and Gaga are definitely the oldest. I think.
What about Gerald Tate?
Oh yeah, I had it was Murphy Cross.